No doubt, the Federal Capital Territory is fast growing to be counted among one of the biggest cities in Nigeria after Lagos, Kano and Port Harcourt. The population growth has also resulted in traffic congestion in most parts of the city center and the suburb. In 2014, the Federal Capital Territory Administration introduced park and pay policy on designated streets with heavy human and commercial activities in a bid to shore up revenue increase for safety and security of vehicles. This policy was greeted with criticism and consideration by motorists owing to what they describe as the high-handedness of the operations. This policy was suspended in the face of legal battle to be or not to be. In 2023, the FCTA announced the return of park and pay policy, which will commence March. This is our focus on Saturday Discourse this week. A public affairs analyst, Jide Ojo, our studio guest, shall talk to us on the benefits or otherwise of the reintroduction of this policy, which most FCT residents have frowned at. Do stay with us as we begin with the news of the day. My name is Tessie Omiri. We thank you for joining us. The Abuja Light Rail project is one of the legacy projects of the FCT administration. Its operations was halted as a result of the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic. The mandate secretary for Transportation Secretariat, Abdullahi Adamu Candido, who assumed office in 2022, has given more impetus to cinch the resumption of the operation of the Abuja Light Rail. Hawa Gimba reviews these and other activities of the sector in 2022.
With the suspension of the operations of the Abuja Light Rail services as a result of the COVID-19 outbreak in 2020, suspected hoodlums took advantage of the gap to vandalize the rail tracks and other equipment at the train station. On assumption of office, the mandate secretary, Abdullah Adamu Candido, took stock of the level of damage with a view to replacing them. The secretariat also engaged local security outfits to properly safeguard the critical infrastructure ahead of planned resumption.
A legacy, and that legacy is what brought me here to take a look at it, so we can, within the space of time, know what to say and how to go about it.
Also, in the year under review, there was a renewed clampdown on motorcycle operators who violate the traffic rules and regulation by crushing the impounded motorcycles.
The activities of commercial motorcycles in the Federal Capital City is no more regarded as traffic nuisance. It is now considered a security threat.
And if we have that as our capital city, we should respect laws and do the right thing as far as FCT is concerned.
For the Okada men, one thing must be certain going forward. As long as the bird decides to fly without perching, the FCT minister, the DRTS, and the umbrella body secretary of transportation, and all of us in task force will learn to shoot and shoot clearly as we're shooting now without mistake.
Bid to ensure orderliness in the role, the FCT Transportation Secretariat expressed determination to revisit its park and pay policy, which is to kickstart in the first quarter of 2023.
While on-street parking scheme may seem overbearing for some users, however, the scheme will impact positively on the residents on economic activities through improving customer experience and promoting efficient parking management.
This, however, is to inculcate sanity in those who chose to flout laid-down rules. Hawa Gimba, NTA News.
Many thanks, Hawa Gimba. And meanwhile, what may sound like good news to the law-abiding citizens may sound otherwise to those who have violated the extant rules and regulations, as the FCT administration is set to resume its park and pay policy before the end of the first quarter of 2023. Secretary for Transportation Abdullahi Adamu Candido dropped this hint while briefing the media in Abuja. Onoze Yakubu has more.
Before now, the former FCT park and pay policy generated a lot of controversy and public outcry, which led to the scheme suspension in 2014. Briefing the media, the FCTA Secretary for Transportation, represented, disclosed that the reintroduction of the on-street parking scheme will address traffic challenges caused by indiscriminate parking by road users in the territory.
While on-street parking scheme may seem overbearing for some users, however, the scheme will impact positively on the residents on economic activities through improving customer experience and promoting efficient parking management system, which will enable customers to find easily empty parking spaces, saving time and fuel, improving customer satisfaction, which will boost the businesses of all investors.
The FCT Transportation Secretariat says the 2019 FCT parking regulations, which has since been gazetted, is the legal instrument to drive this reintroduction of the scheme.
Having the Federal Capital Territory Parking Regulations 2019. So since 2019, we have had the regulation approved by the minister. And this is what is going to guide the operations that we want to resume.
The first phase of the policy will be carried out only within the Federal Capital City. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Many thanks, Onoze Yakubu, for that background report on the park and pay policy reintroduced by the FCTA. And that set the tone for our discussion to this evening on Saturday Discourse. And to do justice to this topic, we have our guest in the studio, Jide Ojo, a public affairs analyst. Thank you for joining us on Saturday Discourse.
It's a pleasure. Good evening, Nigerians.
Yeah, thank you. So tell us, what does this park and pay policy entails?
Well, as you said in that background, that the policy was initially introduced in 2014. It operated for some months before it was challenged by some citizens of FCT about the illegality of having that kind of system in place. Not that it's entirely something strange to us. I recall that if you go to the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport and you needed to park your vehicle, you pay for the parking. That's if you are not just dropping off your passengers. So if you want to park, you are made to pay. Even in Lagos airport, you are also expected to pay if you are going to park for a period of time. And of course, it's a means of generating income for the administration. However, the right now, I'm wondering whether this is the appropriate time to reintroduce that.
Because I was about to ask you, 9 years after the suspension of the same
exactly.
policy, it's been reintroduced.
Yeah, you know, I think they need to be sensitive, the FCTA, because this is an election year. And reintroducing this kind of policy at the eve of an election could make people to vote against the ruling party. Because, I mean, we have the Petroleum Industry Act signed by the president in 2021, I think August or September. And he suspended the removal of fuel subsidy. Why? Because of election. So, you know, there are things you do. You need to be very conversant with the timing of your... If the law, according to what was cited by Mrs. Olayemi, was the amendment of 2005 Act in 2019. Now, when this administration came back in 2019, assuming COVID-19, 2021, you should have introduced this. Okay. People have gotten used to it before the election of 2023. But to now say, oh, you are going to reintroduce this, people will say, oh, so this is what you are bringing to us if we vote your party into
are you
power.
not looking at the positive side of it? From people are saying that it will help address traffic congestion, and you know, due to indiscriminate parking in the FCT.
Of course, it's not as if there is anything in this world that does not have the good and the bad side. Yeah. So, and it's not like it's bad.
So tell us,
we are not talking of this being a bad stuff. It's not bad. It's the timing I'm talking about. And so you need to understand that. The advantages, like you rightly pointed out, is that it sanitizes the parking habits or culture of Nigeria, of motorists in FCT.
So are you saying that we have a particular timing for introducing policy, despite the fact that we know it will be beneficial to residents?
As a government, you need to study the mood of the people. Okay. People are already complaining about the high cost of living. And of course, when you now say you want, if people park in certain spots, they have to pay. It means that their disposable income will be reduced. But I'm not saying it's a totally unwelcome development. What I'm saying is that the timing is wrong, but beyond the timing, you also need to carry out a law of sensitization. People need to know what are the pros and the cons. For instance, if I'm parking, in some places you are billed per hour. So if you are parking for an hour, like I'm sorry, there's a 5-star hotel here that introduced Park and Pay. I don't want to mention because this is a TV, but just not far from here, there's a 5-star hotel that introduced Park and Pay for non-lodgers. So if you are not lodging and you come, you park for an hour, it has amount you pay if it's 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, a whole day. So we need to know exactly how much are we talking about. Okay. So if I just park my car and go till tomorrow, will I pay just 50 naira or 100 naira? Okay. Or it will have to be per hour? Then, you know, even if you want to correct indiscriminate parking, you don't need to introduce payment. There is a way you have people who educate and tell you, oh, this is wrong parking. For instance, do we even have proper signage across the FCT as to, okay, don't park here, they park here, or this is a park and pay zone? Because I recall in 2014, they have something like that. So it's not every street that you park, that you pay.
And residents also complain of a lack of, even their parking space is not really adequate.
God bless you. You see, it's the same FCTA that approves the building of so many shopping malls across, because what I read of this Park and Pay is that it will start in Wuse and Maitama as the first phase. Now, you approve the building of high-rise skyscraper shopping malls with very limited parking space. So now people want to, if people want to patronize such malls now, that means you have to pay. But the question is, how much are people even expected to pay? Because I know, even this Wuse market that is not far from here, if you go to if you park as a trade, somebody who has come to patronize them at that market, you are expected to pay for the parking of your car. In Wuse market, that was introduced some time ago. But the good news is that, one, this is backed by law. Two is that it will generate revenue for the FCTA. Three, it will help to sanitize the indiscriminate parking. Four, it can also help protect your vehicle, because now people who are going to be giving you tickets, they will have eye-mark you when you are paying. And they saw that the man who parked this vehicle wore a red dress. If somebody wants to vandalize your car, they will definitely be able to raise alarm. So in a sense, in security-wise, it can also help to protect and secure your vehicles because of the presence of these people.
Almost on a daily basis, you hear people their cars, being
carjacking
stolen,
or
yes,
stolen vehicle or
marketplaces,
vandalized
churches.
vehicle. Yeah, so it will help. That's why I say it has the security implication. It will also help generate revenue. But what we have not been told is that will this be done directly by the FCT, or it will be given as a franchise to private operators? Yes. Because the last time in 2014, they actually used private operators to do this. We do not know whether this time around, the law that they say has been fine-tuned. And this law, well, it's a policy, it's not even a law, because if it were to be a law, it should have been sent to the National Assembly. It's National Assembly that makes law for FCT, Federal Capital Territory, because we do not have our own assembly here. Yes. Neither do we have our own governor. So this being a policy, if it comes in direct collision with the law, subsisting law, I tell you, some people will still go back to court to challenge the implementation.
So with this widespread condemnation, that greeted this new policy, and from what you are also saying, you are aligning yourself with the fact that this policy is coming not so
the
much.
Timing is wrong, but so it has a lot of positive implication. My own final thought is that they need to get their timing right. Then they need a lot of sensitization. I've raised a number of posers. Sure. For instance, which roads? Is it every road, every conceivable road in the FCT? FCT has 6 area councils. Is it going to be only in Amak? Which part of Amak? If I'm resident in a place and in front of my house, can I be allowed to park my car without having to pay? Or even if in front of my house I park a car, despite the fact that it's my residence, I will be made to pay. Then how much are we talking about? So there's a lot of, yes, we need a lot of sensitization so that people can buy into it. But it's not as if it's devoid of certain advantages. We just need to be able to highlight these advantages. They need to go on road shows. They need to enlighten people. They need to let us know which roads are you going to take effect part campaign, which roads are exempted.
Public Affairs Analyst Jide Ojo, for sharing your thoughts with us, and I want to believe that FCT is listening, and of course FCT residents on this new policy. Like you said, modalities and sensitization is a key word.
Very
Thank
important.
you so much. Yeah, and moving on to other issues, the Federal Capital Territory Administration inaugurated people's-oriented projects and flagged off various empowerment programs that added value to the lives of residents of the territory in the year 2022. In the year under review, Ifeanyi Ezumba examines activities of the Minister of State, FCT, Ramatu Tijani Aliyu. And that report will come your way in our subsequent bulletin. Still talking reviews, let's take a look at health. Quality health care delivery, which is the bedrock of human productivity, remains a fundamental duty of the government and priority for its citizenry. Kemat Aliyu in this report highlights how the FCT health sector fared in 2022 in the area of primary and secondary health care, as well as public health issues.
The year 2022 for the FCT health sector commenced with the outbreak response to a circulating mutant polio virus, an immunization exercise which held in January concurrently with COVID-19 vaccination. In February, a cancer screening was inaugurated to address the increase in cases of cervical cancer. It was a project by a non-governmental organization in collaboration with the FCT Primary Healthcare Board and other development partners situated in Apo Primary Healthcare Center. In same year under review, an open-heart surgery, the first of its kind, was successfully carried out at the Federal Medical Center, Abuja, for more than 5 patients. March 2022 witnessed issues around the concession of Garki General Hospital to Nisa Premier Hospital under a 15-year public-private partnership agreement which came to a close. And in a bid to strengthen delivery at healthcare facilities with proper safety kit, FCT administration alongside partners distributed mama kits to expectant mothers across primary healthcare facilities within the territory. 2022 featured a mass integrated measles, meningitis and vitamin A campaign carried out to boost the immune and well-being of all eligible groups. The healthcare authorities in the year under review no doubt made strides in tackling the threat of COVID-19 pandemic and its many variants and other health emergencies, ranging from cholera to measles, Lassa fever, monkeypox, amongst others. In Abuja, Hakimat Aliu, NTA News.
And the need for all NTA stations to have a fact-checking desk to curb fake news as well as ensure effective coverage of the 2023 general elections was again brought to the fore at the NTA News Management and Strategic Conference held in Abuja. Onoze Yakubu tells us more.
With the advent of social media, television broadcasting has evolved, hence the need for the Nigerian Television Authority to brace up with this current reality, especially as the 2023 general elections approach. It is in the light of this that the NTA News Directorate engaged news managers at a News Management and Strategic Conference. Resource persons at the event stressed the need for NTA stations to establish fact-checking desks to curb fake news, as well as call on participants to leverage on modern technology to ensure effective coverage of the 2023 general elections.
The essence of our gathering here is to ensure effective and efficient national coverage of all of the elections from federal to state level. And as such, it is important that people who will be at the forefront in the long run, the reporters I mean, are well equipped to deliver the story of this national election.
We expect a better coordination and a better election coverage during the 2023 general elections.
The series of lectures that have been held have covered a lot of grounds in this area towards ensuring that our reporters are well equipped towards achieving our mandate.
What are the expectations from NTA reporters after this training, putting into cognizance the favorable competition in the present-day broadcast media industry?
Those managing news departments, we've learned different things, different platforms we can, take advantage of, different ways of presenting, our content, and it's really been inspiring.
The conference is timely, and at the same time, it will go a long way in boosting our performance during this forthcoming election. And I call on Nigerians to watch out for NTA. We are coming in full force.
And I believe with this, we have much confidence that the 2023 election will be a success as far as NTA is concerned.
The conference has as its theme 2023 elections, keeping up with digital broadcasting. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
And meanwhile, the two-day strategic conference for NTA News Management staff has been concluded, leaving memorable experiences in the minds of the participants. Charity Zaka reports that the conference was rounded off with a cocktail where they unwind to appreciate the initiative.
Beyond the academic and intellectual rigor of the two-day capacity development program, these management staff of the NTA News were in this cocktail to relax. This is not without a subtle reminder on the need to begin preparations for the 2023 general elections now.
I would like to re-emphasize the importance of putting to action what we have learned, and of course remembering to ensure that we register for the accreditation that INEC has opened the portal for us to register.
The coverage of the 2019 election was indeed a great success for the NTA. So we're now resting on our oars to ensure that we even do a better job this time around.
We've been told a lot of things, and I believe that if we take away all that we learn here, NTA will provide one of the best coverages in the entire country.
General managers and news and current affairs managers from states lauded the initiative.
We are very convinced and we are very happy with the outcome of this particular conference because it has turned out to be very good. Everything about it, the plan, the execution and the conclusion, we are all very happy with it.
We are taking back our authority. We are taking back our position. We are there now. Under the leadership of Malan Labu, our Executive Director News, NTA has been taken to the next level.
At all times, he's always there to support us. Even when we're in serious situation, he will come to your aid.
What they were able to really put together for us really would go a long way in helping some of us in the discharge of our mandate.
To encourage hard work and resilience, stations and individuals were honored. Maiduguri Network Center, Port Harcourt, Lagos, Calabar and Benin Kebbi received special recognition. Charity Zakka, NTA News.
Yesterday I got a call from Glo. I won a 3-bedroom bungalow.
Yes, guys! Guess what? I won a car.
I won a generator by participating in the Festival of Joy promo by Glo.
Hey, Glo don't do this one for me. Glo to make it set to me with sewing machine.
I won generator last year. This year I won for
It's a celebration like no other with prizes like no other. 20 new houses to be won. 24 brand new cars. 200 sewing machines. 100 generators. 1,000 rechargeable fans. Glow Festival of Joy promo. Dial *611# now.
And on sports, table tennis star Aruna Kadri makes it to the quarterfinals of the World Table Tennis Contender Competition. When Degu gives us more details.
Nigeria table tennis star Aruna Kadri continued his impressive performance in the ongoing World Table Tennis Contender Competition in Durban, South Africa as he cruised into the quarterfinal. The African champion on Friday defeated Chinese star Sun Wen in the round of 32 to set up a clash against France youngster Felix Lebrun. The 16-year-old French international pushed the Nigerian to the limit before he finally succumbed 2-3 at the end of the game. Meanwhile, Flying Eagles coach Ladan Bosso has denied having 65 players in the Abuja camp of the Nigerian under-20 team. He said the team's focus is to trim the 35 players to 23 names that will be submitted to CAF ahead of the CAF Under-20 African Cup of Nations in Egypt. He said the stories going around that they have 65 players in camp is false. The Nigerian Football Federation is set to spend approximately 1.3 billion naira on refreshments, anti-corruption and others in its 2023 appropriation budget sent to the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development. From the 1.2 billion appropriated, 153 million will go on personnel, 964 million as overhead costs, while 164 million is for capital expenditure. With Sports Brief, Wayne Dogo, NTA News.
And that's it on Saturday Discourse. Thanks for watching. Good evening.